Hello, listener. This is 103.9 FM, Outbreak FM, New York City. David Morgan here. It's 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon in October. The subway is running. Times Square is packed with tourists. Central Park is full of people enjoying the fall weather. 8.3 million people going about their lives in the greatest city on Earth. Except something happened 43 minutes ago that changed everything. And I need everyone listening across the 5 boroughs, across the tri-state area, across anyone within range of this transmission to understand that what I'm about to tell you is real. This is not performance art. This is not some elaborate viral marketing campaign. This is not a movie shoot, even though this is New York, and there's always a movie shoot somewhere. This is real. This is happening. And it's happening right now. Sarah Chun just handed me the emergency alert. At 2:04 p.m., 43 minutes ago, Mount Sinai Hospital on the Upper East Side reported a code silver, violent patient. Except this patient had been declared deceased 11 minutes earlier. Declared dead at 1:53 p.m. from cardiac arrest, covered with sheet. Moved to morgue holding, and at 2:04 p.m., that patient sat up. Attacked a morgue attendant. When security responded, the patient exhibited impossible strength. No pain response. No reaction to taser. No reaction to pepper spray. Just pure aggression, biting, attacking, spreading blood. And here's what makes this exponentially worse. The morgue attendant who was attacked started showing symptoms within 8 minutes. High fever, disorientation, violent aggression. He attacked other hospital staff. And now we're getting identical reports from New York Presbyterian, from Bellevue Hospital downtown, from NYU, Langone and Kips Bay, from Brooklyn Methodist, from Elmhurst Hospital in Queens, every borough, every major medical center, all reporting the same pattern within the same 90-minute window. I'm going to say this clearly because there's no other way to say it. The dead are coming back. They're attacking the living. And the people who are attacked are becoming the same thing within minutes. I know how insane that sounds. I know what you're thinking. But I'm looking at reports from 11 different hospitals across 5 boroughs. I'm monitoring NYPD radio traffic, and it's unlike anything I've heard in 20 years of broadcasting in this city. I'm watching social media explode with video footage from Times Square, from Penn Station, from the subway platforms. This is not a hoax. This is not explainable through normal means. Something is happening in New York City that violates every law of biology and medicine. And we need to respond immediately because the window for survival is closing faster than you think. 2:54 p.m. Sarah's monitoring NYPD communications right now. The radio traffic is absolute chaos. Every precinct is reporting violent disturbances. Midtown North, Midtown South. Central Park Precinct, Hell's Kitchen, Chelsea, Lower East Side, Harlem, Washington Heights, the Bronx, Brooklyn North and South, Queens, Staten Island. All 77 precincts across 146 sworn officers are being activated. Every available unit, every detective, every officer who can respond. And the calls are coming in faster than units can deploy. The NYPD has 36,000 officers. Right now, every single one of them is being mobilized for the largest crisis response in department history. And here's the mathematical nightmare we're facing. New York City has 8.3 million people in 300 square miles. Population density, 28,000 people per square mile. That's 10 times denser than Los Angeles, which means infection spreads 10 times faster. One infected person on a subway car with 200 passengers creates 200 potential infections in the time it takes to travel 3 stops. One infected person in Times Square, where 500,000 people pass through daily, creates exponential spread measured in minutes. The density that makes New York great makes New York catastrophically vulnerable to infectious outbreak. We're watching worst-case scenario unfold in real time. 3:02 p.m. The mayor's office just released their first statement. Sarah's reading it. The city of New York is experiencing isolated medical incidents across multiple locations. Emergency services are responding appropriately. There is no public health emergency at this time. Residents should remain calm and avoid crowded areas as a precaution. The situation is being monitored and managed by health officials. Normal city operations continue. Isolated incidents, normal operations. That's the official guidance from City Hall. But from what we're seeing on NYPD scanners, from the eyewitness reports flooding our tip line, from the videos being uploaded every 30 seconds, showing attacks in subway stations and on crowded streets. This is not isolated, and operations are not normal. This is coordinated chaos spreading through the densest city in America at the speed of subway trains and foot traffic. The mayor is either uninformed or deliberately minimizing. Either way, the guidance is worse than useless. It's deadly. Avoiding crowded areas in Manhattan is impossible. Avoiding the subway system that carries 5.5 million riders daily is impossible. People need real guidance. They need to understand the actual threat. They need to know that staying in dense areas is suicide. 3:09 p.m. We just got our first eyewitness call. His name is James. He's on the 4 train southbound somewhere between Grand Central and Union Square. The train stopped in the tunnel. Sarah's putting him on air. James, you live on Outbreak FM. Tell us what's happening. We've been stuck in this tunnel for 15 minutes. The train just stopped. The conductor hasn't made any announcements. And there's someone at the far end of the car who's attacking people. I can see it happening. People are screaming. They're trying to get away, but there's nowhere to go. We're packed in here, maybe 200 people in this car. And this person is biting people, grabbing them. There's blood, so much blood. People are pushing toward my end of the car. We're crushed against the doors. I can't breathe. Someone needs to help us. We're trapped down here. Please, please someone help. Sarah's trying to give him guidance, but what guidance is there? He's in a subway car, underground, stopped in tunnel, trapped with infected and 200 potential victims in pressurized metal tube. There's no evacuation, no escape. The doors won't open between stations. He's trapped. They're all trapped. And we're listening to them die. We can hear the screaming in the background. We can hear the panic. And then the call cuts off. Gone. James is gone. 200 people on that subway car are probably gone. That's the horror of subway outbreak. Underground. Enclosed. Nowhere to run. Infection spreads to 100% of enclosed population in minutes. 3:17 p.m. Dr. Rebecca Martinez from Mount Sinai is on the line. She's head of emergency medicine. 32 years of experience. She's treated everything New York throws at hospitals. Gunshot wounds, stabbings, traffic accidents, terrorist attacks, disease outbreaks. She's seen it all. And Sarah can hear in her voice that this is different. Dr. Martinez, you're on Outbreak FM. What can you tell us? This is Dr. Martinez. I need everyone listening to understand what we're facing with absolute clarity. We have a pathogen with 100% transmission rate through bite exposure, 100% fatality rate, and 100% reanimation rate post-mortem. Transmission occurs through bites primarily, blood-to-blood contact through open wounds, possibly through mucous membrane exposure, though we're not certain. Infected individuals exhibit complete loss of higher cognitive function, extreme aggression, high fever typically exceeding 105 degrees, and total absence of pain response. They attack any uninfected person within range with apparent goal of biting and transmitting infection. Symptom onset is 5 to 12 minutes post-exposure. Death occurs 30 to 90 minutes post-infection. Reanimation occurs 2 to 4 minutes after cardiac arrest. Once bitten, survival is impossible. Infection progression cannot be stopped. Death is inevitable. And post-death, you will reanimate as infected and attack others. The only survival strategy is complete avoidance of exposure. If you are bitten, you will die. Accept that. Isolate yourself. Do not expose others. That is the only ethical choice remaining to infected individuals. 100%. Transmission, fatality, reanimation. Dr. Martinez is telling us this is unsurvivable if exposed. That getting bitten is death sentence with guaranteed transformation into threat. That's the reality. That's what we're fighting. Not disease you might survive. Disease that kills everyone 100% of the time and turns them into infectious threat. Understanding that changes everything. Changes how you evaluate risk. Changes how you respond to seeing infected. Changes whether you try to help someone who's bitten. You don't help them. You can't help them. They're already dead. They just don't know it yet. 3:25 p.m. The subway system is melting down. Multiple reports of attacks on trains across all lines. The 1, 2, 3 lines on the west side. The 4, 5, 6 on the east side. The 7 to Queens. The L across Manhattan and Brooklyn. The N, Q, R, W through Midtown. Every line reporting incidents. The MTA is attempting emergency shutdown, but you can't stop 570 miles of track and 6,000 subway cars instantly. Trains are still running, still moving. Still transporting infected and victims through the underground network beneath 8.3 million people. The subway system that's New York's circulatory system is becoming infection distribution network. Every train is potential outbreak vector. Every station is potential contamination site. The thing that makes New York function is killing us. 3:39 p.m. Traffic above ground is catastrophic. Every bridge and tunnel out of Manhattan is gridlocked. The George Washington Bridge, the Lincoln Tunnel, the Holland Tunnel, the Queens Midtown Tunnel, the Brooklyn Bridge, the Manhattan Bridge, the Williamsburg Bridge, all stopped, bumper to bumper. People heard about attacks, made rational decision to evacuate. 8.3 million people trying to evacuate simultaneously through finite number of exit points. The result is total gridlock. No one moving, cars abandoned. People walking, running, panic spreading faster than infection. And infected are on the bridges too. People who were bitten, who got in cars to escape, who turned while stuck in traffic, who are now attacking other drivers trapped in gridlock. The bridges are becoming killing zones. Escape routes turning into death traps. 3:47 p.m. Times Square is lost. We're watching it happen on traffic cameras. The crossroads of the world, where 500,000 people pass through daily. Where tourists from every country gather. Where New York shows its bright lights and energy to the world. It's infected territory now. Multiple infected attacking crowds. Panic causing stampedes. People being crushed. People being attacked. People jumping into traffic trying to escape. The NYPD is there. They're engaging. But standard tactics aren't working. You can't crowd control infected. You can't de-escalate with words. You can't arrest them. Officers are being attacked, being infected, becoming threats themselves. Times Square is falling in real time on camera for the world to see. The symbol of New York, the symbol of American vitality, becoming symbol of collapse. 4:04 p.m. The NYPD is changing tactics. Commissioner Williams just broadcast on all channels. Effective immediately. All units are authorized to use lethal force against confirmed infected individuals. Standard use of force continuum is suspended. Infected subjects do not respond to verbal commands, less lethal options, or pain compliance. Firearms are the only effective response. Aim for the head. Center mass shots are ineffective. Infected continue attacking, despite normally fatal wounds to torso and extremities. Only destruction of brain tissue stops infected aggression. Headshots are authorized across all 5 boroughs effective immediately. This is not standard policing. This is combat operations. Treat this as active shooter scenario with mobile threats. Protect yourselves. Protect civilians. Eliminate infected on site. Williams out. Headshots authorized. Shoot on sight. The NYPD just declared war on infected citizens in their own city. That's how far outside normal we are. 36,000 police officers are being told to kill people on sight if they show infection symptoms. No arrest, no restraint, just execution. It's necessary. It's the only thing that works. But it's also the end of normal policing. The end of pretending this is manageable through standard procedures. We're in triage. We're in warfare. We're in survival mode where infected are enemies and elimination is only option. 4:19 p.m. Sarah and I are making the decision. We're suspending all programming. No music, no commercials. No traffic updates about which route to take because all routes are blocked. Outbreak FM goes into continuous emergency broadcast mode. Sarah and I stay on air as long as we can, as long as we have power, as long as we're alive. We broadcast information that helps people survive. We coordinate between survivors and authorities. We're the voice you hear when everything else fails. That's our purpose. That's our commitment. We're not entertainers anymore. We're crisis communicators. We're survival information network. We're the frequency that stays on while the city burns. 4:27 p.m. The infection estimates are coming in. NYPD estimates 5,000 confirmed, infected across 5 boroughs. But that's confirmed through direct reports. Actual number is probably 50,000, maybe 100,000. The infected don't call 911. They attack. They spread. The only infected we know about are ones that attacked in public view. The ones attacking in apartments, in subway tunnels, in back alleys, those go unreported. The real infected population is unknowable. Could be 1% of city population. Could be 5%. We're operating blind, making decisions based on incomplete, catastrophically delayed information. Reality is worse. Always worse than reported numbers suggest. 4:34 p.m. JFK Airport is shutting down. All flights canceled. Terminals evacuating. There were infected on arriving flights. People who boarded planes in other cities showing symptoms. Who attacked passengers at 30,000 feet. Who created outbreak scenarios in pressurized cabin with 300 people and nowhere to run. The planes that landed are quarantined on tarmacs. The planes preparing for departure are being emptied. JFK handles 60 million passengers per year. 16,000 flights per week. Right now it handles 0. LaGuardia is shutting down. Newark is shutting down. All 3 major airports serving New York metropolitan area are dark. No flights in. No flights out. The city is cut off from air travel. Ground routes are gridlocked. Water routes across harbor are only remaining exit. And those are being overrun by millions trying to evacuate by ferry and private boat. 4:49 p.m. We're getting reports of community defense organizing in residential neighborhoods. A block in Astoria, Queens has barricaded their street. 40 families. They've blocked vehicle access with parked cars. Posted armed residents at corners. Created defended perimeter around 2 blocks. They've engaged infected twice. Killed 37 infected. 0 casualties among defenders. They're proving that organized armed groups can defend territory. That communities don't need to wait for NYPD or National Guard. They can protect themselves through coordination and force. Other neighborhoods are watching, learning, organizing their own defenses. It's spontaneous distributed defense network forming across 5 boroughs. Tribal instincts activating. Defend the in-group. Exclude the threat. Cooperate or die alone. 5:04 p.m. Central Park is becoming mass casualty site. The park had tens of thousands of people when Outbreak started. Joggers, tourists, families, dog walkers. People enjoying fall afternoon in 800 acres of green space in heart of Manhattan. Now infected are hunting through the park. Attacking anyone they find. People are trying to escape, but the park is huge. 2.5 miles long, half-mile wide. People are getting lost. disoriented, attacked while trying to find exits. The NYPD is attempting to secure perimeter, keep infected contained in park. But the park has multiple access points. 20 different streets. Infected are escaping, spreading into surrounding neighborhoods. Upper East Side, Upper West Side, Midtown. The park that's the lungs of Manhattan is exhaling infected into densest residential areas in city. 5:19 p.m., the National Guard is being activated. Governor declared state of emergency 37 minutes ago. But deployment will take hours. Troops need to be recalled, equipped, briefed, transported into city that's gridlocked. Best case, we're looking at National Guard on Manhattan streets at midnight. Worst case, tomorrow morning. We're on our own until then. No military support, no heavy weapons, no organized large-scale response. Just NYPD and civilians trying to survive exponential outbreak in densest city in America with no playbook for this scenario. 5:34 p.m. The power grid is failing in Lower Manhattan. Financial district just went dark. Battery Park, Tribeca, complete blackout. Power plant workers fled or died or became infected. Too few personnel maintaining infrastructure. The grid requires constant monitoring, constant adjustment, constant human presence. Remove humans and systems fail. And one system failing stresses other systems. Cascading failures throughout electrical network. Lower Manhattan is dark. Midtown will be next. Then Upper Manhattan, then outer boroughs. The city that never sleeps is going dark. And darkness means visibility drops. Means infected can't be seen until close. Means aiming headshots becomes nearly impossible. Darkness favors infected. Night is coming in 3 hours. And night will be catastrophic. 5:47 p.m. Dr. Martinez is calling in again. She's barricaded somewhere in Mount Sinai. She's updating infection timeline. Early cases took 12 minutes to show symptoms. Recent cases are symptomatic in 5 minutes. Early cases took 90 minutes to die. Recent cases are dying in 40 minutes. The pathogen is accelerating, mutating possibly. Optimizing for faster transmission. The window from bite to reanimation is compressing. We're seeing bite to walking infected in under 1 hour now. That's half the time we were seeing 3 hours ago. This means less time for victims to seek help. Less time to isolate. Less time to say goodbye. The infection is getting faster, more aggressive, more deadly with every hour. Martinez out. Faster infection means faster spread. Means the exponential curve gets steeper. Means we're not just fighting current outbreak. We're fighting outbreak that gets worse every hour as pathogen optimizes. That's nightmare scenario. That's losing ground even while holding position. Time is not our ally. Time makes infection deadlier, makes spread faster, makes survival harder. 6:04 p.m. The Brooklyn Bridge is a graveyard. Thousands of abandoned cars, bodies everywhere. Infected wandering through wreckage. The bridge that's connected Brooklyn to Manhattan since 1883 is impassable. Same with Manhattan Bridge, Williamsburg Bridge, Queensboro Bridge. All blocked, all death traps. People tried to evacuate across bridges, got stuck in gridlock, got attacked, got infected. Now the bridges are barriers. No escape from Manhattan, no escape from Brooklyn. The boroughs are isolated, cut off from each other, each fighting its own battle, each surviving or dying independently. 6:19 p.m. Sarah just got word about her brother. He lives in Brooklyn Heights. He's barricaded in his apartment building with neighbors. 15 people. 3rd floor walk-up. They have food for a week, water, some weapons. They're organized. They're safe for now. Sarah's relieved. She's been maintaining composure while terrified for family. Now she knows he's alive, defended, has community support. She's crying but still working. Still monitoring communications. Still coordinating information. That's dedication. choosing to help strangers while family is in danger. That's the kind of person who keeps society functioning during collapse. 6:34 p.m. The Empire State Building is visible from our broadcast studio, still lit, still standing, still symbolic of New York's strength and resilience. But below that building, below that symbol, the city is falling. Manhattan is lost. Brooklyn is fighting. Queens is overwhelmed. The Bronx is burning. Staten Island is isolated. The bridges are blocked. The tunnels are death traps. The subway is contaminated. The hospitals are compromised. The police are overwhelmed. New York City is collapsing. 8.3 million people fighting for survival. And we're broadcasting it, documenting it, trying to help people survive it. 6:52 p.m., sunset in 24 minutes. Darkness is coming. First night begins. And night makes everything exponentially worse. Visibility drops to nearly zero in blacked out city. Infected are just as dangerous in dark, but humans can't see threats, can't avoid, can't aim, can't fight effectively. Night is when defenses fail, when mistakes happen, when casualties multiply. We have 24 minutes of daylight remaining. Then we enter night, first night of outbreak. Many who survive day won't survive night. That's mathematics. That's reality. We're preparing people for what's coming, for darkness, for terror, for worst night of their lives. 7:04 p.m. Penn Station is lost. The busiest train station in Western Hemisphere. 650,000 passengers daily. Access to Long Island, access to New Jersey, access to subway lines. It's infected territory now. Thousands of infected wandering platforms and concourses. The videos on social media are apocalyptic. Bodies everywhere. Blood on marble floors. Infected attacking anyone trying to evacuate. Penn Station was evacuation route. Now it's tomb. Now it's place you avoid. Place you die if you enter. The loss of Penn Station is symbolic. It's logistical. It's psychological. If Penn Station can fall, anywhere can fall. Nothing is safe. Nowhere is protected. 7:19 p.m. Grand Central Terminal is falling. The beautiful Beaux-Arts landmark. The terminal with painted ceiling of constellations. Where 750,000 people pass through daily. It's being overrun. Infected on platforms. Infected in main concourse. Infected in shops and restaurants. The NYPD is there. They're fighting. But they're being overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Grand Central is too big. Too many access points. Too many people became too many infected. The terminal is lost. Like Penn Station, like Times Square, like Central Park, the landmarks are falling. The places that define New York are becoming infected territory. The city is being rewritten. New geography. New borders. New division between living and dead. 7:34 p.m. The Astoria Community Defense just repelled third attack. 50 infected this time. They killed all 50. 0 casualties among defenders. They're sharing tactics over radio. Engage at distance. Create killing zones. Maintain ammunition discipline. Never let infected reach barriers. Support each other. Stay organized. It's working. They're proving civilian defense succeeds with proper coordination. Other communities are learning, adapting, forming their own defenses using Astoria as model. We're seeing network effect. Information spreading faster than infection. Communities helping each other survive through shared knowledge. That's hope. That's human adaptation. That's why we might survive this. 7:52 p.m., 24 minutes until sunset. The sky is orange over Manhattan. Beautiful, the last beautiful thing maybe. In 24 minutes darkness comes. Night begins. Terror multiplies. We're trying to prepare people. Telling them to find defensible positions before dark. To barricade. To stay quiet. To avoid movement. To survive however they can. Some will listen. Others won't. Some will survive. Others won't. All we can do is provide information, and hope it helps someone somewhere make decision that keeps them alive. 8:04 p.m. The National Guard is reporting first units approaching city. They're fighting through gridlock on highways, fighting through infected on approach routes. They'll be in Manhattan by 10 p.m. now. 2 hours from now. 2 hours of darkness before military arrives. 2 hours of civilians fighting alone against exponential outbreak. 2 hours is eternity. 2 hours is long enough for thousands to die. But it's all the hope we have. Military in 2 hours. Hold on for 2 hours. That's the message. Help is coming. Just survive 2 hours. 8:16 p.m. The sun is setting. Darkness is here. The first night begins. Sarah and I are watching the city go dark. Building lights going out as power fails. Street lights dark from grid failure. Just scattered fires and emergency lights. New York City, the city that never sleeps, the city of lights, is entering darkness. Total darkness. And in that darkness, infected are hunting. And survivors are hiding. And the first night of New York's apocalypse begins. 8:19 p.m. This is Outbreak FM. David Morgan and Sarah Chun. The sun is down. Darkness is complete. First night begins. If you survive the day, if you're listening to this, stay with us. We'll broadcast through the night. We'll guide you. We'll help you survive until dawn. Stay tuned. Stay quiet. Stay alive. And if this frequency is helping you get through the darkness, if knowing someone else is out here fighting gives you strength, stay with us. More broadcasts will follow. We're not going anywhere. We're here for however long you need us. This is Outbreak FM, New York City. Welcome to the night. Part 2. The first night descends. 8:27 p.m. This is Outbreak FM. David Morgan here with Sarah Chun. We're 48 minutes into darkness, and the reports are already catastrophic. Manhattan is going dark block by block. Brooklyn has lost power in most areas. Queens is partially dark. The Bronx is fighting to maintain grid stability. Staten Island is isolated and unreachable by radio. The city that never sleeps is entering its darkest night in history. And we're broadcasting from our studio in Midtown, 23rd floor. We have generator power for approximately 12 hours. After that, we're dependent on battery backup and solar panels on the roof. We're positioned to broadcast long-term if we can stay safe. If infected don't reach this building, if our supplies hold, we're committed to staying on air as long as possible. 8:34 p.m. The NYPD is reporting catastrophic losses. Commissioner Williams just broadcast updated numbers. 9,000 officers dead, infected, or missing. 9,000. That's 25% of the force in 6 hours. 36,000 officers at start of outbreak. 27,000 still functional and decreasing. The NYPD is being decimated. Not because officers aren't brave, not because they're not trained. Because the threat is overwhelming. Because fighting infected in close quarters leads to bites. Bites lead to infection. Infection leads to death and reanimation. The police are losing this fight. And if police can't contain outbreak, civilian casualties will be exponentially worse. 8:49 p.m. We're getting our first reports from people trapped in high-rise buildings. A woman named Maria is on the 47th floor of a midtown office tower. She's barricaded in a conference room with 8 co-workers. They have vending machine food, water from cooler, no weapons. Infected are in the building, in stairwells. She can hear them moaning, climbing. They're not intelligent enough to use elevators, but they can climb stairs. 47 floors is a lot of stairs. But infected are tireless. No fatigue, no pain. They'll climb until they reach the top. Maria's asking if they should stay or try to evacuate down. Sarah's telling them to stay. 47th floor is defensible. High ground, limited access points. Going down means encountering infected in stairwells. Close quarters, no escape. Better to defend conference room than risk stairs. We're giving advice that might save them or might trap them. We don't know which. All we can do is make best guess based on what we know about infected behavior. 9:04 p.m. The subway system is completely shut down. MTA announced total system closure 30 minutes ago. All trains stopped. All stations closed. But there are people still trapped underground, on stopped trains, on platforms, in tunnels. Thousands of people in the dark, beneath millions of tons of earth and concrete, and infected are down there with them, hunting through tunnels, through stations, through train cars. The screams are audible through subway grates, through ventilation shafts. People above ground can hear people below ground dying, can't help them, can't reach them. Just listen to them die in darkness beneath their feet. The subway system that moves 5.5 million people daily has become mass grave. 9:19 p.m. A community defense group in Park Slope, Brooklyn, is making contact with us. They're calling themselves Park Slope Defense Coalition. 63 armed residents. They've secured a 12-block area around Prospect Park, posted guards at every intersection, created safe zone for 400 civilians. They're requesting we broadcast their location so other survivors can reach them. But broadcasting attracts infected too. Creates risk. The coalition says broadcast anyway. They'd rather help people and accept risk than stay hidden. We're putting their location on air. Park Slope, Brooklyn. 7th Avenue between Union Street and 9th Street. Defense Coalition accepting refugees. Armed security. Screening for bites. Medical care available. If you're in Brooklyn and need safety, that's an option. Approach carefully. Identify yourself clearly from distance. Don't make sudden movements. Scared people with guns make mistakes. 9:34 p.m. Dr. Martinez is calling in from Mount Sinai. She's been barricaded for 5 hours. She has update on infection behavior. We're observing infected congregating. They're forming groups, not through planning, through instinct. They follow each other's moans. Where one infected goes, others follow. It creates concentration. Pack behavior without pack intelligence. Individual infected are manageable. Packs of 50 or 100 overwhelm defenses through numbers. Avoid areas with multiple infected. Single infected you can evade or kill. Groups will kill you. Also observing degradation in early infected. Our 6 infected are moving slower, less coordinated. Tissue breakdown is visible. They're decomposing while mobile. Estimate 24 to 48 hours until complete motor function loss. The infected are temporary threat. They degrade. They collapse. They become harmless if you survive long enough. Martinez out. 24 to 48 hours. That's the timeline. Infected are only dangerous for 2 days. After that, they're too degraded to hunt. That's strategy. That's hope. Survive 2 days and infected population becomes manageable. Survive 1 week and all infected are immobile. It's waiting game. It's endurance test. Can we survive long enough for biology to make infected harmless? Some will. Others won't. But knowing there's endpoint makes endurance possible. 9:47 p.m. The bridges are death traps, but people are still trying to cross. Thousands attempting to walk from Manhattan to Brooklyn, across Brooklyn Bridge. Across Manhattan Bridge. They're being attacked by infected on the bridges. By infected waiting on far side. The bridges are ambush sites, narrow paths. No alternate routes. Perfect killing zones for infected who've concentrated there following fleeing humans. People who make it across arrive in Brooklyn only to face Brooklyn's outbreak. Trading one infected zone for another. There is no safe borough. There is no escape across bridges. Each borough is isolated. Each fighting its own battle. 10:04 p.m. Sarah's brother just radioed from Brooklyn Heights. His building is under attack. Large infected force. Maybe 70 individuals. The 15 residents are defending from 3rd floor. They're holding, but ammunition is depleting. They're requesting support, but there's no support available. NYPD is overwhelmed. National Guard isn't here yet. Civilian communities are defending their own positions. No one has spare forces to send across Brooklyn. Sarah's brother is on his own. Sarah's listening to him coordinate defense, listening to gunfire in background. She's crying while broadcasting. Professional composure breaking. She's doing her job while her brother might be dying. That's courage. That's sacrifice. That's what makes her essential even while it's destroying her. 10:19 p.m. The National Guard is entering Manhattan. First convoys crossing George Washington Bridge from New Jersey. They're fighting through infected on bridge approach. Heavy resistance. They're engaging with mounted weapons. Creating corridor through infected population. We can hear the gunfire from here. Continuous. Overwhelming. The military is fighting their way into their own city to save what's left. It's surreal. It's necessary. It's America in 2026. Military combat operations in Manhattan. Not against foreign enemy. Against infected American citizens. The absurdity is matched only by the horror. 10:34 p.m. We're 2 hours from midnight. 2 hours from day 2. Sarah and I have been broadcasting for 7 hours and 47 minutes continuous. We're exhausted but functional. We're running on adrenaline and purpose, and coffee we're rationing because we don't know when we'll get more. This is our contribution. Information, coordination, hope. We can't fight with guns. We can't cure infection. We can't stop outbreak. But we can maintain communication network that connects survivors to resources and to each other. That's valuable. That's worth staying awake for. Worth risking our lives for. 10:47 p.m. Times Square is completely dark now. No lights. No billboards. No electronic displays. The crossroads of the world where millions of LED lights create artificial daylight is pitch black. Just fires burning in abandoned buildings. Infected wandering through darkness. The symbolism is overwhelming. Times Square dark as New York dead. Is America dying? Is civilization ending? The brightest place on earth is darkest place in city. What was is gone. What is remains, dark, deadly, unrecognizable. 11:04 p.m. The Empire State Building just went dark. The lights that have illuminated that Art Deco spire since 1931 are out. Power failure or deliberate shutdown, we don't know. But the Empire State Building dark is gut punch. That building has survived everything. Depression, World War II, 9/11s, hurricanes, blackouts. It's always been there. Always lit. Always symbolic of New York's strength. Now it's dark. Gone. Lost to darkness like everything else. If the Empire State Building can go dark, nothing is permanent. Nothing is safe. Nothing survives unchanged. 11:19 p.m. Sarah's brother survived the attack. His building held. They killed all 70 infected. 4 residents were bitten. All 4 self-terminated immediately, rather than turn and endanger the group. Heroes who chose death over transformation. Who protected their community through sacrifice. Sarah's relieved her brother survived. She's devastated 4 people died. Both emotions simultaneously, relief and grief. That's the emotional state of survival. You're happy someone lived while knowing others died. You celebrate survival while mourning losses. There's no pure emotion anymore. Everything is mixed. Everything is complicated. Everything hurts. 11:34 p.m. The National Guard has established first safe zone in Lower Manhattan. They're securing area around Battery Park, approximately 10 blocks. They're clearing infected from the zone. Heavy combat. We can hear explosions, machine gun fire. Flares in the sky. The military is here. The military is fighting. For first time in 7 hours, we have organized large-scale response. Heavy weapons, trained soldiers, command structure. It changes calculation. Not immediately, not completely. But it creates possibility that didn't exist before. Possibility of protected space, of organized evacuation, of military-enabled survival. 11:47 p.m. We're 13 minutes from midnight. 30 minutes from day 2. The first 24 hours isn't complete yet, but we're approaching it. Sarah and I are reflecting on what we've witnessed. 7 hours ago, New York was normal. Functional, 8.3 million people living their lives. Now the city is war zone. Millions dead or infected. Infrastructure failing. Institutions collapsing. We watched it happen. We broadcast it. We tried to help people survive it. Some did. Others didn't. We'll never know how many. Never know if our broadcasts made difference. We just keep broadcasting because not broadcasting is surrender. And we don't surrender. 11:52 p.m. The Park Slope Defense Coalition is reporting they've made contact with 7 other Brooklyn communities. Combined population approximately 1,000 people. Combined defensive force approximately 250 armed individuals. They're forming alliance, Brooklyn Defense Network. Mutual aid, coordinated response, shared intelligence. It's government forming from chaos. Communities recognizing cooperation provide security individual communities can't achieve. The alliance is being formalized over radio right now, without lawyers, without legislation, just survivors agreeing to help each other, to defend together, to survive together. That's beautiful. That's human nature. That's why we might survive. 12:01 a.m., midnight. We've crossed into day 2. The first 24 hours isn't complete, but we're in second day now. And if you're listening, if you survived to midnight, you're proving survival is possible. You adapted. You fought. You endured. You're survivor. Not victim. Not casualty. Survivor. That's achievement. That's victory in midst of catastrophe. Celebrate it briefly, then prepare for continuation. For day 2, for however long this lasts, you survived day 1 evening. You can survive day 2. We'll help you. We'll be here. We'll guide you however we can. 12:14 a.m. The National Guard Battery Park Safe Zone is operational. They're accepting refugees. Capacity for 5,000 people. They're screening for infection at perimeter. Anyone bitten is denied entry. Anyone showing symptoms is denied entry. It's harsh but necessary. Can't risk infection inside safe zone. Better to exclude possibly infected than endanger definitely uninfected. People are being turned away. Sent back into darkness. Some will find other shelter. Others will die. That's triage. That's mathematics. Save maximum number by excluding minimum number. It's correct strategy. It's heartbreaking execution. Guards making those decisions will carry that weight forever. 12:27 a.m. We're getting reports of successful supply runs. Communities venturing into darkness to raid stores. Gathering food, water, medicine, weapons. It's dangerous. Visibility 0, infected active. But supplies are necessary. Can't survive on what you have indefinitely. Need resupply. Communities with good planning and discipline are succeeding. Communities improvising desperately are failing. The difference is preparation. Is reconnaissance during daylight. Is tactical planning. Is coordinated execution. Military principles applied by civilians who learn fast because survival depends on learning. 12:43 a.m. Sarah and I are 10 hours into broadcast. We're discussing shift changes. Taking turns sleeping while other maintains broadcast. 4 hours on, 4 hours off. Sustainable long term. We can do this indefinitely if we stay disciplined. If we don't burn out. If we remember this is marathon, not sprint. We're settling in. Accepting new reality. This is our life now. Broadcasting through crisis. Coordinating survivors. Maintaining hope. However long New York needs us, days, weeks, months, we're here. And we're not leaving until crisis ends, or we can't continue. Whichever comes first. Part 3, The Deep Night. 12:51 a.m. This is Outbreak FM. David Morgan back on air after 20-minute break. Sarah's monitoring while I slept briefly. Didn't sleep really. Closed my eyes. Let adrenaline settle. But rest isn't possible. Not real rest. Not while city burns. Not while people are dying. Sarah's updating me on the last 20 minutes. 2 more community alliances formed in Queens. One in the Bronx. Brooklyn Defense Network expanded to 12 communities. The Survivor Network is growing, self-organizing, creating structure from chaos. That's hope. That's humanity refusing to die quietly. 1:04 a.m. The National Guard is establishing second safe zone in Midtown. They're securing Herald Square area. Penn Station perimeter. It's ambitious. Penn Station is compromised. Thousands of infected inside. Clearing that will require heavy combat. But if they succeed, Midtown Safe Zone will have capacity for 10,000 people. Combined with Battery Park, that's 15,000 protected capacity. It's not enough for 8 million survivors, but it's substantial. It's growing. More safe zones planned. Brooklyn, Queens, Upper Manhattan. The network is expanding. 1:19 a.m. We're receiving disturbing reports about infected entering apartment buildings through unsecured doors. People fled without locking doors. Infected are wandering into buildings, climbing stairs, checking apartments, finding survivors who thought they were safe behind locked apartment doors. But if building entrance wasn't secured, infected get inside. Then it's just a matter of time before they find occupied apartments. People in apartment buildings need to secure building entrances, need lobby guards, need organized building defense. Individual apartment locks aren't enough if infected are roaming hallways. 1:34 a.m. A high-rise in Financial District is reporting infected reached 30th floor. They've been climbing for hours, tireless, relentless. The building has residents on floors 30 through 55. 25 floors of occupied apartments above 30 floors of infected controlled territory. The residents are organizing defense at 30th floor, barricading stairwell doors, preparing to fight if infected break through. It's vertical warfare, defending elevation rather than perimeter. New tactics for new threat. High-rise defense will be critical in Manhattan, where millions live in tall buildings. 1:47 a.m. Dr. Martinez is providing medical update from Mount Sinai. She's been isolated for 9 hours, observing significant degradation in our 8 infected. They're shambling, barely mobile. Tissue decomposition is advanced. The smell is overwhelming. They're rotting while walking. Our 12 infected will probably be immobile. Our 24 infected will be completely degraded. The timeline is accelerating. Early infected are collapsing faster than we predicted. This is good news. The threat window is narrowing. Survive 18 hours from initial infection, and that infected individual becomes harmless. The biology is working in our favor. We just have to endure long enough. Martinez out. 18 hours until infected collapse. That's better than 24. That's faster degradation. That's shorter survival timeline required. Every hour the timeline shortens is exponential improvement in survival odds. If infected are harmless after 18 hours, then outbreak peak is at 18 hours. We're at hour 10 now. 8 more hours until day 1 infected start collapsing en masse. 8 hours until tide starts turning. 8 hours until defense becomes easier. We can survive 8 hours. We're already surviving. Just continue for 8 more hours and situation improves dramatically. 2:04 a.m. The Midtown Safe Zone is operational. Herald Square secured. Penn Station cleared. It was bloody. National Guard used heavy weapons, grenades, machine guns, flamethrowers. They cleared 3 levels of Penn Station. Killed approximately 2,000 infected. The main concourse is secured. Lower levels still compromised but sealed off. The safe zone has capacity for 8,000 people now. They're accepting refugees. Screening at perimeter. People are arriving. Families, individuals, communities who decided military protection is safer than independent defense. The safe zone is filling rapidly. 2:19 a.m. Sarah's monitoring social media. The videos from earlier today are going viral globally. Times Square attack, Brooklyn Bridge gridlock, subway car massacre, Central Park panic. The world is watching New York fall in real time. International news is covering this as breaking story. Every country, every network. New York's apocalypse is being broadcast worldwide. Some countries are closing borders, canceling all U.S. flights, quarantining American travelers. The infection is contained to U.S. currently, but world is preparing for global spread. Taking precautions New York didn't take, learning from our mistakes. Maybe they'll survive what we're experiencing. Maybe someone learns from this disaster. 2:34 a.m. We're 4 hours from dawn. 4 hours of darkness remaining. The night is quieter now. Fewer gunshots. Fewer screams. Not because infection stopped. Because survivors learned. Learned to stay silent. Learned to hide effectively. Learned that noise attracts death. The ones who didn't learn are dead. Natural selection operating in compressed time frame. Teaching survival through death of those who fail to adapt. We're watching human population being filtered. Survivors emerging are the ones who learned fastest, who adapted smartest, who fought hardest. The city that emerges from this will be different, harder, more resilient. Forged by trauma into something new. 2:47 a.m. The Park Slope Defense Coalition is conducting nighttime patrol. 20 armed individuals sweeping secured area, clearing infected, creating safe corridors. They've killed 43 infected in 2 hours. 0 casualties among patrol. Professional execution by civilians who learn tactics through necessity. They're proving organized groups can conduct offensive operations even at night, even in darkness, with proper coordination and discipline. That's encouraging. Shows communities aren't helpless, aren't passive victims, can fight back, can reclaim territory, can win. 3:04 a.m. We're receiving philosophical question from listener in Queens. She asks, what happens after? After infected degrade, after crisis ends, after we survive, what do we rebuild? What becomes of New York? What becomes of us? It's good question, important question. Question that means she's thinking beyond immediate survival to long-term future. That's healthy. That's hopeful. Sarah's answering. We rebuild what we can. Save what survives. Honor what's lost. New York has endured everything. We endure this too. Maybe it takes years. Maybe it takes decades. But cities are resilient. Humans are resilient. We survived. That's victory. What we build from survival is tomorrow's question. Today we survive. Tomorrow we rebuild. That's all we can do. Survive today. Plan tomorrow. Hope for future. It's good answer. Maybe only answer. You can't rebuild during crisis. You survive crisis. Then you rebuild. Trying to do both simultaneously fails at both. Focus on survival now. Rebuilding comes later. After infected degrade. After military secures city. After we count our losses and assess what remains. Then we rebuild, but not now. Now we survive. 3:19 a.m. The financial district high-rise is under attack. Infected breached 30th floor barricade. They're in residential floors now. Hand-to-hand combat in hallways. Residents fighting with kitchen knives, baseball bats, fire extinguishers, whatever weapons they have. It's desperate. It's chaotic. Some residents are retreating to higher floors. Others are fighting. Some are being bitten. Infected population in building is growing. It's cascading failure. Once infected breach secured floor, they multiply faster than defenders can eliminate them. The building is falling. 55 floors of residents. Maybe 500 people. They're being overrun in real time, and there's nothing anyone can do to help them. 3:34 a.m. The high-rise residents are evacuating to roof. They're calling for helicopter extraction. But there are no helicopters available. National Guard is engaged elsewhere. NYPD aviation is grounded. Private helicopters are fled or unavailable. The residents are trapped on roof. 61 people. Nowhere to go. Infected are climbing toward them. They have maybe 30 minutes before rooftop is breached. Some are talking about jumping, choosing fall over being torn apart. Others are preparing final stand. Either way, most of them will die. We're listening to it happen. Unable to help. Unable to save them. Just broadcasting their final moments so someone witnesses. So their deaths matter to someone beyond themselves. 3:47 a.m. Dawn in 2 hours and 41 minutes. The eastern sky is showing faint pre-dawn glow. Not sunrise yet. Just promise of sunrise. Promise that night ends. That darkness is temporary. That morning comes. People need that promise. Need to know these 3 hours will end. That daylight returns. That infected become visible again. 3 hours. Finite time frame. Survivable duration. We're broadcasting countdown. 2 hours 40 minutes to dawn. Then you survive first night. Then visibility returns. Then defense becomes easier. 3 hours. You can survive 3 hours. We believe in you. You've survived this far. Continue 3 more hours. 4:04 a.m. The financial district high-rise residents on rooftop are making terrible choice. 20 people are attempting to rappel down exterior using bed sheets tied together. Lowering themselves from 55th floor toward lower floors they hope are uncompromised. It's desperate. It's dangerous. It's probably suicidal. But staying on rooftop is certain death when infected arrive. Rappelling is possible survival. Low probability. But possible. They're choosing possible survival over certain death. Rational choice in irrational situation. We're listening to their attempt. Some make it down several floors. Others fall. We hear screaming. Then silence. Then Sarah stops monitoring that frequency. She can't listen anymore. Can't bear witnessing more death. I take over. Someone has to listen. Someone has to witness. Someone has to remember they tried. 4:19 a.m. The National Guard is announcing 3rd safe zone operational in Brooklyn. They're securing Brooklyn Heights and surrounding areas. Capacity for 6,000 people. Combined safe zones now have capacity for 19,000 protected civilians. The network continues growing. Capacity increasing. More people can reach safety. More families can be together. More survivors can stop fighting alone and join organized defense. The safe zones are working. They're saving lives. They're providing hope that government isn't completely collapsed. That institutions still function in reduced capacity. That help exists for those who can reach it. 4:34 a.m. 2 hours 26 minutes until dawn. We're in deep night now, the hours between midnight and dawn. When exhaustion is overwhelming, when hope is hardest to maintain, when giving up seems rational. These are the hours that test endurance, test will, test whether you want to survive badly enough to continue fighting when every instinct says rest. These hours kill people, not through violence, through despair, through exhaustion, through surrender to sleep that becomes permanent sleep because infected find you while you're unconscious. We're fighting exhaustion, fighting despair, fighting the temptation to close our eyes and rest, because resting means stopping broadcast, means abandoning people who need us. We won't rest, won't stop. Not until dawn. Then we'll take shifts. Then we'll rest. But not now. Now we broadcast. 4:47 p.m. Sarah's brother is reporting Brooklyn Defense Network has expanded to 18 communities. Combined population approximately 1,800 people. Combined defensive force approximately 450 armed individuals. They're coordinating patrols, sharing supplies, trading intelligence, creating distributed defense network that's more resilient than any individual community. They're also coordinating with National Guard Brooklyn Heights Safe Zone. Civilian and military cooperation. Communities feeding intelligence to military. Military providing heavy weapons support when civilian communities are overwhelmed. It's effective. It's working. It's the model for urban survival during outbreak. Civilian communities providing distributed awareness. Military providing concentrated force. Both supporting each other. 5:04 a.m. 1 hour 56 minutes until dawn. The sky is definitely lighter now. Still dark, but not pitch black. We can see shapes, can distinguish buildings against sky. The city is emerging from darkness, and with light comes visibility. Comes ability to see infected before they're close. Comes safety through information. Darkness is terrifying because you're blind. Light reveals threats, allows response, allows evasion. Light is survival tool. We're approaching light, approaching day, approaching survival of first night. Those who made it this far prove they can endure, can adapt, can survive worst night in New York's history. That's achievement worth celebrating, briefly, then continue surviving. Because crisis isn't over, night is ending. Day 2 is beginning. New challenges await. 5:19 a.m. The NYPD is reporting they're consolidating remaining forces, abandoning some precincts, withdrawing to defensible strongholds, creating fortified positions instead of trying to patrol 8.3 million person city with 27,000 exhausted officers. It's admission that city is too large to secure with available resources. That mission exceeds capability. They're doing triage at municipal scale. Defending what can be defended. Abandoning what can't. Some neighborhoods will lose NYPD presence, will be alone. We'll have to provide own security through community defense. Other neighborhoods will have concentrated NYPD protection. It's unequal. It's practical. It's reality of resource limitations. Can't defend everywhere. Must choose. 5:34 a.m. 1 hour 26 minutes until dawn. Sarah and I are approaching 11 hours of continuous broadcasting. We're beyond exhausted. We're delirious. We're hallucinating from fatigue. But we're functional. Still coordinating. Still informing. Still hoping. Because thousands of people are listening. Are depending on this frequency. Are surviving because we're providing information that keeps them alive. That's worth staying awake for. Worth fighting exhaustion for. Worth sacrificing our health and sanity for. We're essential infrastructure now. As important as power or water, maybe more important. Because information enables survival. Information is meta resource that unlocks all other resources. We provide that. We continue providing it however tired we are. 5:47 a.m., 43 minutes until dawn. The eastern sky is orange and pink. Beautiful. First beautiful thing since sunset. First reminder that beauty still exists. That world continues regardless of human catastrophe. The sun rises whether New York survives or dies, whether we survive or die. That's comforting and terrifying simultaneously. Comforting because it means continuity. Terrifying because it means indifference. Universe doesn't care about us, but we care about each other. That's enough. That's all we have, each other. This sunrise, this moment. This survival, we exist, we persist. We endure. That's victory when extinction seemed inevitable 12 hours ago. 6:04 a.m. Dawn is breaking. Sun is cresting horizon. Light is spreading across New York City. The city is revealed. Smoke rising from hundreds of fires. Abandoned cars on every street. Empty bridges. Infected wandering in daylight. But also survivors emerging from hiding. From defended positions. From safety of night survived. They made it. We made it. First night complete. 12 hours of darkness survived. We're entering first full day of outbreak. Day 2, hour 16. And we're still here. Still broadcasting. Still fighting. Still refusing to surrender. 6:19 a.m. The National Guard is announcing expanded operations. 4th Safe Zone operational in Queens. 5th Zone in Upper Manhattan. 6th Zone in the Bronx. 7th Zone in Staten Island. The network now covers all 5 boroughs. Combined capacity for 35,000 protected civilians. That's substantial. That's meaningful infrastructure. That's government functioning in crisis mode. Providing protection and services to those who can reach it. Not everyone will reach it, but option exists. That's progress. That's hope. That's indication we might survive this. 6:28 a.m. The sun is fully up. Daylight has returned. New York is visible. The damage is visible. Miles of empty streets. Thousands of abandoned vehicles. Fires burning unchecked. Buildings damaged. Bodies everywhere. Infected wandering openly. But also life. Survivors moving. Communities organizing. Military forces operating. People fighting back. The city is damaged. The city is dangerous, but the city is alive. Still functioning in reduced capacity. Still fighting. Still refusing to die. New York has survived everything. We survived this too. And if you're listening, if this frequency helped you survive the night, if knowing someone else is out here fighting, gives you strength to continue, stay tuned. More broadcasts will follow. This is Outbreak FM, New York City. Welcome to Day 2, Part 4, the first sunrise 24 hours complete, 6:35 a.m. This is Outbreak FM. David Morgan here with Sarah Chun. The sun is climbing over New York City. Day 2 is here. We're approaching hour 17 since Outbreak began. First night survived. First dawn witnessed. And everyone listening right now proved survival is possible. You adapted. You hid. You fought. You endured the darkest night in New York's history. That's victory. That's achievement. Celebrate it briefly. Then prepare for continuation. For Day 2, for whatever comes next. 6:41 a.m. Sarah's monitoring casualty estimates from National Guard Command. They're projecting 3 million dead or infected across 5 boroughs. 3 million from 8.3 million population. 36% casualty rate in 17 hours. It's catastrophic loss. Unprecedented in modern American history. But we're choosing to focus on the other number. 5.3 million survived. 64% of the city's population is still alive, still human, still fighting. Majority survived. That's what we emphasize. Not because the dead don't matter, they matter enormously, but because survivors need to know they're majority. Need to know most people made it. Need to know they're not alone in small group of lucky ones. They're part of massive survivor population. 5.3 million people. That's larger than entire population of most cities. We didn't just survive. We survived in numbers that matter. In numbers that can rebuild. In numbers that represent continuity of New York itself. 6:54 a.m. The infected are degrading visibly now. Hour 17 infected are shambling slowly. Tissue breakdown is advanced. You can see it from distance. They're rotting while walking. The smell is overwhelming in areas with high infected concentration. Our 12 infected are barely mobile. Shuffling forward but unable to run or climb effectively. Our 8 infected are collapsing completely, falling down and unable to rise. The degradation timeline Dr. Martinez predicted is playing out exactly as she described. Infected have approximately 18 hours of peak functionality. After that, they degrade rapidly. Our 24 infected will be completely immobile. Our 48 infected will be decomposed to point of total motor function loss. This is critical information. We're past peak now. From this point forward, every hour makes infected less dangerous. It's exponential improvement. Tomorrow they'll be half as dangerous as today. Day after tomorrow, quarter as dangerous. Within 1 week, negligible threat. We endured worst night. Now every night is easier. Every day is safer. That's hope grounded in biology. That's strategy grounded in observation. Survive. Wait. Let nature make infected harmless. 7:11 a.m. We're receiving reports from across 5 boroughs about successful dawn supply runs. Communities ventured out at first light. Raided grocery stores, pharmacies, hardware stores, return to defended positions with weeks of supplies. The strategy is working perfectly. Dawn provides optimal conditions. Infected are visible after night of darkness. They're sluggish from overnight activity. Visibility is excellent in morning light. Traffic is non-existent, allowing fast movement. Most infected are still in buildings where they hunted during night. Communities with proper planning and discipline are securing massive supply hauls in single operations. One group in Astoria returned with 3 trucks full of food, water, medicine, batteries, first aid supplies. Enough for their 40-family community for 6 weeks. That's self-sufficiency developing. Communities learning they don't need stores to be open. Don't need supply chains to function. Don't need economy to work normally. They can take what they need from abandoned commercial infrastructure and defend what they have through organization and force. It's regression to fundamental economics, possession, defense, trade. The complex systems of modern commerce failed overnight. But simple systems of direct acquisition and barter are working perfectly. Humans adapting to new reality with impressive speed. 7:34 a.m. The National Guard safe zones have grown to 37,000 people and still expanding. Hundreds of survivors arriving every hour. Walking from defended positions across boroughs. Some traveling from as far as 20 miles. Families, individuals, entire communities who decided military protection is preferable to independent defense. They're being screened at perimeter. Medical checks for bites and fever. Questions about exposure. Anyone showing symptoms is denied entry and directed to quarantine facilities outside the safe zone perimeter. It's harsh but necessary. One infected inside safe zone could kill hundreds before being stopped. The screening is rigorous, sometimes overly rigorous. Some people are being denied entry based on suspicion rather than evidence. Better safe than sorry is the protocol. Better to exclude possibly infected than risk definitely uninfected. People denied entry are devastated. They walked miles, risked their lives, reached what they thought was safety, only to be turned away at gates. Some understand, some argue, some beg. All are eventually turned away if they don't pass screening. It's heartbreaking. It's necessary. It's the mathematics of triage at population scale. 7:52 a.m. Sarah's brother just made contact from Brooklyn Heights. His building survived second night without incident. No attacks, no breaches. The 15 residents maintained watch rotations, kept silent, stayed defensive, and nothing happened. That's actually significant. Night 2 was quieter than Night 1, not because there are fewer infected, but because infected are degrading, because communities learn tactics, because defenses improved. The infections that would have killed people Night 1 didn't happen Night 2 because people were better prepared. That's adaptation. That's learning. That's survival improving through experience. Sarah's brother is reporting similar pattern across Brooklyn Defense Network. All 25 member communities survived night without casualties. 0. That's incredible. 25 communities, approximately 2,000 people. All survived without single loss. Night 1 saw 30% casualties in same communities. Night 2 saw 0. The difference is knowledge, is preparation, is tactics learned from day 1 applied on Night 2. If this pattern continues, Night 3 will be even safer. Night 4 safer still. Eventually nights become routine. Boring even. Infected too degraded to threaten. Defenses too strong to breach. Survival becoming sustainable rather than desperate. 8:11 a.m. We're getting reports about infected behavior changes as degradation progresses. Our 18 infected are no longer pursuing prey actively. They wander randomly. Respond to nearby stimuli, but don't hunt. Our 20 infected are standing motionless until disturbed. Our 22 infected are on ground unable to rise. It's progressive shutdown of motor function as tissue degrades beyond capability to sustain coordinated movement. Dr. Martinez's timeline is proving accurate. By midnight tonight, all day one infected will be immobile. By tomorrow night, completely harmless. The threat is collapsing on predictable timeline. Communities can plan around this. Can schedule supply runs knowing infected danger decreases every hour. Can expand defended territory knowing infected can't defend their territory. We're transitioning from survival to recovery. From reactive defense to proactive reclamation. From enduring to rebuilding. The pivot point is happening now. Hour 18. When infected degrade below threshold of being primary threat. 8:34 a.m. The NYPD is conducting systematic clearing operations in Midtown. Teams moving building by building. Killing degraded infected. Securing structures. Marking cleared buildings with spray paint. Green X means cleared and safe. Red X means infected inside still. Yellow X means uncertain. They're creating map, visual representation of what's safe and what's not. Other communities are adopting same system, marking buildings. Creating shared visual language. It's information infrastructure emerging. Allowing coordination without radio communication. Allowing people to make decisions based on marked buildings. If you see green X, that building is safe. Red X, avoid. Yellow X, use caution. Simple system. Universally understandable. Working across language barriers and technical limitations. It's brilliant adaptation. Creating information network through physical marking rather than electronic communication. 8:47 a.m. The National Guard safe zones have reached capacity limits. 48,000 people across 8 zones. They can't accept more without compromising safety and sanitation. Food supplies are strained. Water distribution is challenging. Medical care is overwhelmed. Sanitation facilities are at breaking point. They're announcing no new admissions until additional zones are established or supplies arrive. People still approaching are being turned away, directed to wait. Told new zones are coming. But people are desperate. They traveled far. They risked everything. Being told to wait is not acceptable answer for some. Tensions are rising at perimeters. Arguments, shouting. Some physical confrontations between refugees and guards. The guards are maintaining discipline, but situation is volatile. This is danger of centralized safe zones. Limited capacity creates artificial scarcity. Creates competition for finite resource. Creates conflict between people who should be cooperating. Distributed civilian defense doesn't have this problem. No capacity limit. No central authority deciding who gets admitted. Just communities defending themselves and helping each other voluntarily. Both systems have advantages. But centralized systems have this particular failure mode. Capacity limits creating conflict. 9:04 a.m. We're receiving disturbing reports from Financial District. The high-rise building that was overrun last night is completely infected now. Approximately 400 infected trapped inside. They're trying to exit, but don't understand door mechanisms. They're pressed against glass. Against locked doors. Moaning. Visible from street. It's horrific, but also strategically useful. 400 infected contained in single building is better than 400 infected wandering streets. The building became trap. Infected entered, multiplied, but couldn't exit. Now they're concentrated and contained. National Guard is discussing whether to clear the building or just seal it. Let infected degrade inside. Come back in 48 hours when they're immobile and eliminate them safely. Sealing is easier. Less risk. Less ammunition expenditure. But it means 400 infected corpses decomposing in Midtown building. Disease risk, smell, environmental hazard. Clearing is harder but cleaner. They're debating. Probably will seal. Easier is better when resources are limited. Deal with sanitation later when immediate survival threat is resolved. 9:19 a.m. Sarah and I are approaching 14 hours of continuous broadcasting. We're taking first real rest now. 4-hour shift rotation starting. Sarah will broadcast while I sleep. Then I'll broadcast while she sleeps. Sustainable schedule we can maintain indefinitely. This is marathon, not sprint. We pace ourselves. We rest when possible. We continue as long as New York needs us. And New York will need us for weeks, maybe months, maybe longer. We're settling into new reality. This is our life now, broadcasting crisis information, coordinating survivors, maintaining communication infrastructure. It's not temporary emergency anymore. It's new normal. We accept that. We adapt to it. We prepare for long-term effort. 9:47 a.m. I'm awake again after 4 hours sleep. First real sleep in 15 hours. Didn't sleep well. Nightmares about subway cars filled with infected. About bridges collapsing. About watching city burn. But I slept. Body demanded it. Sarah's updating me on what happened during my rest. National Guard established 9th and 10th safe zones. 1 in Harlem. 1 in Queens. Combined capacity now 58,000. Brooklyn Defense Network expanded to 31 communities. Similar networks forming in Bronx and Staten Island. Manhattan communities organizing borough-wide coordination. The survivor network is becoming sophisticated, hierarchical, organized. Communities forming alliances. Alliances forming federations. Federations coordinating with military. It's government emerging from chaos. Bottom-up governance. Voluntary association. Democratic organization. It's beautiful and abstract, messy in execution, but it's working. It's keeping people alive. 10:11 a.m. We're receiving reports of human versus human conflict. Raiders attacking defended communities. Trying to steal supplies. Trying to take territory. It's inevitable. Some people respond to crisis by cooperating. Others by taking advantage. The raiders are small groups, well-armed. Mobile, they hit communities, steal what they can. Disappear before organized response happens. They're parasites. Living off others' preparation and work. Several communities have repelled raids. Killed raiders. But raiders are adapting too. Getting smarter, more careful. More dangerous. This is new threat, not infected. Human predators. Possibly more dangerous than infected because they're intelligent. They plan, they coordinate, they use tactics. Communities need to prepare for human threats as well as infected threats. Need to maintain security, even after infected degrade to harmlessness. Because humans remain dangerous indefinitely. 10:34 a.m. Dr. Martinez is calling in from Mount Sinai. She's been barricaded for 20 hours. She has major update. I've been studying degradation patterns extensively. Our 20 infected are completely immobile. Cannot pursue. Cannot attack. Can barely move. Our 24 infected will be essentially corpses. Dead tissue animated by residual pathogen activity, but incapable of any coordinated action. By day 3, all day 1 infected will be harmless. Not just less dangerous. Completely harmless. Immobile decomposing flesh. The threat from day 1 infected ends at hour 72. After that, only day 2 and day 3 infected remain dangerous. And they're degrading on same timeline. Within 1 week, all infected from outbreak window will be degraded. Only new infections extend timeline. Stop new infections and crisis ends in 1 week. That's endgame. That's victory condition. Prevent new bites. Let existing infected degrade. In 1 week, threat is eliminated entirely. Martinez out. 1 week, 7 days. That's timeline to complete safety. We're on day 2 now. 5 more days until all infected are harmless. 5 days. That's achievable. That's visible endpoint. Communities can survive 5 days, can maintain defenses, can ration supplies, can endure psychological stress, because they know it ends in 5 days. Knowing endpoint makes endurance possible. Infinite crisis breaks people. Finite crisis with countdown can be survived. We're broadcasting this timeline, emphasizing it. 5 days, then safety, then recovery begins. Hold on 5 days. That's all we ask. 10:52 a.m. The community defense networks are coordinating interborough trade. Brooklyn has surplus canned goods from successful warehouse raids. Queens has medical supplies from pharmacy raids. They're trading, establishing barter rates, creating market economy without currency. 3 cans food equals 1 bottle antibiotics. 5 cans food equals 1 box ammunition. 10 cans food equals 1 gallon gasoline. Food is base currency. Everything else valued relative to food. It's logical. Food is survival necessity. Medical supplies help, but aren't essential. Ammunition helps defense, but you can defend without it. Food you need daily, no substitutes. Therefore, food is money. The market is setting prices through supply and demand. No central authority. No regulation. Just people trading what they have for what they need. And it's working. Efficient distribution without planning. Resources flowing to where they're most valued. That's market forces. That's human economic behavior emerging naturally from need and scarcity. 11:11 a.m. We're getting reports that some infected are dying permanently. Not degrading. Dying. Our 24 infected are showing cessation of all activity. No movement. No response to stimuli. Actual death. The pathogen keeps tissue animated for approximately 24 hours. After that, degradation is so advanced that pathogen can't maintain motor function. The corpse is just corpse, no longer infected, no longer threat. Just dead tissue requiring disposal. This is important distinction. Our 24 infected aren't dangerous shambling creatures. They're actual corpses. The crisis has definite end for each infected individual. 24 hours from infection. After that they're gone. They're no longer part of threat calculation. Communities can track this, can map infected by hour infected, can know exactly when each infected population becomes harmless. It's information advantage that makes defense infinitely easier. 11:34 a.m. The National Guard is announcing major operation. They're planning to clear all of Midtown Manhattan by end of day 3. Systematic building by building clearing. Killing all infected. Securing entire neighborhood. Creating safe zone encompassing 50 square blocks. It's ambitious. It's achievable. With heavy weapons and organized forces, clearing degraded infected is straightforward. The infected at hour 20 are barely mobile. Easy targets. The Guard can clear hundreds per hour. Thousands per day. By day 3, all day 1 infected will be immobile anyway. The clearing is just accelerating inevitable. But it's symbolically important. Midtown is heart of Manhattan. Heart of New York. Clearing it sends message. We're taking our city back. We're not just surviving. We're reclaiming. We're rebuilding. That's psychological turning point. That's when survival transitions to recovery. 11:52 a.m. Sarah's monitoring social media. International response is developing. Countries are sending aid. Medical supplies, food, military advisors. They're organizing massive relief operation, but supplies won't arrive for days. Airports are damaged. Ports are compromised. Infrastructure for receiving large-scale aid doesn't exist yet. The help is coming, but slowly. In meantime, New York is on its own. Self-sufficient through necessity. Communities learning they can't depend on outside help. Must solve problems locally. Must be resilient independently. That's hard lesson, but necessary lesson. External help is good when available, but you can't depend on it. Must be capable of surviving without it. New York is learning that now. 12:11 p.m. We're approaching hour 23. 1 hour until 24-hour mark. Sarah and I are discussing what that milestone means. 24 hours since Outbreak started. Full day. Full Earth rotation. One sunrise to next sunrise. We survived. Not everyone. We lost 3 million people. 36% of population. That's grief beyond measure. That's trauma that will define New York for generations. But 5.3 million survived. 64%. Majority of city's population is still alive, still human, still capable of rebuilding. That's victory mixed with tragedy. That's survival with enormous cost. We don't minimize loss. We don't ignore grief. But we also don't surrender to despair. We acknowledge both realities. Loss and survival, tragedy and hope, death and life, all existing simultaneously. 12:34 p.m. The infected population is estimated at 250,000 now, down from 3 million casualties because many died permanently. Degraded beyond point of pathogen animation. The threat is literally shrinking hour by hour. 250,000 is still substantial, still dangerous, but it's 20% smaller than 4 hours ago. Tomorrow it'll be 50% smaller than today. Day 3, 75% smaller. The mathematics of degradation work in our favor exponentially. Time is our ally. Every hour we survive, survival becomes easier. Every day we endure, endurance requires less effort. We're descending from peak crisis, still in crisis, but descending toward sustainability, toward recovery, toward whatever new normal looks like. 12:47 p.m. Communities are beginning to discuss long-term planning. Not just survival, rebuilding. What does New York look like after crisis? Do we rebuild Manhattan as it was, or reimagine? Do we maintain high-density urban core, or distribute population to lower-density suburbs? Do we restore subway system, or abandon underground transportation? Do we rebuild high-rises, or focus on low-rise resilient structures? These are questions for tomorrow, for next week, for next month. But people are asking them now. That's healthy, that's hopeful. Means they believe there is tomorrow, believe there is future, believe rebuilding is possible. That belief creates motivation. Motivation creates action. Action creates reality. If people believe they can rebuild, they will rebuild. Faith becomes fact through effort. 1:04 p.m. Sarah's brother is reporting Brooklyn Defense Network is discussing formal governance structure. Not just military alliance, actual government, with leadership, with rules, with democratic process. They're drafting charter, written constitution for alliance, defining rights of member communities, defining obligations, creating dispute resolution mechanisms, creating leadership selection process. It's government forming from consensus, from voluntary association, from recognition that coordination requires structure. Structure requires authority. Authority requires legitimacy. Legitimacy requires democratic consent. They're building governmental institutions from first principles. In real time, during ongoing crisis, it's remarkable. It's exactly what should happen. It's humans doing what humans do, creating order from chaos through social organization. 1:19 p.m., 45 minutes until hour 24. We're preparing final remarks for first 24 hours completion. Sarah's writing. I'm monitoring communications. Both of us are exhausted beyond description. Both traumatized by what we've witnessed. Both grateful to be alive. Both committed to continuing. This is our purpose. This is our contribution. We're not fighters. We're not doctors. We're not soldiers. We're broadcasters. We provide information. We coordinate communities. We maintain hope. That's valuable. That's worth the cost. Worth the exhaustion. Worth the trauma. Worth risking our lives. Because thousands of people are listening, are depending on us, are surviving because we're here. That matters. Maybe that's all that matters. 1:34 p.m., 30 minutes until hour 24. Reports coming in from across 5 boroughs. National Guard has 10 safe zones operational. 62,000 capacity and growing. NYPD consolidated to defensive strongholds. 27,000 officers still functional. Civilian defense networks number in hundreds. Thousands of communities. Hundreds of thousands of armed defenders coordinating through radio and direct contact. Infrastructure is damaged but partially functional. Power in some areas, water in some areas, communications working. Internet is spotty but operational in areas with power. Cell networks are degraded but functional. We're not completely dark. We're not completely isolated. We're damaged but communicating. That's critical. Communication enables coordination. Coordination enables survival. Survival enables recovery. 1:47 p.m., 17 minutes until hour 24. The city outside our studio windows looks different than it did yesterday. Still damaged, still dangerous, but also alive. We can see people moving in streets, carefully, cautiously, but moving. We can see communities defending positions. We can see smoke from fires being controlled instead of spreading. We can see organization instead of chaos. We can see survival instead of collapse. New York is broken, but New York is fighting. And New York is winning, slowly, incrementally, but definitely. The city that never sleeps survived its darkest night. Will survive tomorrow. Will survive however long recovery takes. Because New York is 8.3 million people who refuse to surrender, who adapt, who fight, who endure. That's who we are. That's what we do. 1:52 p.m., 12 minutes until hour 24. Sarah and I are looking at each other. No words necessary. We've broadcast together for 15 hours. Been partners in documenting worst day in New York history. We're bonded now. Through shared trauma. Through shared purpose. Through shared survival. We'll remember this forever. We'll remember what we witnessed. What we helped prevent. What we contributed to collective survival. We're small part of massive effort. Thousands of people fighting. Millions surviving. But our part mattered. Information mattered. Coordination mattered. Hope mattered. We provided those things. That's enough. That's success. 2:04 p.m. This is Outbreak FM. David Morgan and Sarah Chen. It's 2:04 p.m. Exactly 24 hours since Outbreak began. 24 hours since Mount Sinai Hospital reported first incident. 24 hours since patient 0 reanimated and attacked morgue attendant. 24 hours since the dead started walking in New York City. We survived. 5.3 million people survived. The first 24 hours is complete. The crisis continues. Infected are still dangerous. Communities still need to defend. People still need to fight. But we proved survival is possible. We proved humans adapt faster than infection spreads. We proved organization emerges from chaos. We proved civilization endures even during collapse. We're entering day 2 with hope, with structure, with coordination, with determination to rebuild what was lost and create something stronger from ruins. To everyone who listened, who survived, who fought through 24 hours of absolute hell, thank you. You're why we broadcast. You're proof that humanity refuses to die. You're evidence that 8.3 million individual survival decisions add up to collective survival of city itself. You saved New York, not government, not military, you, communities organizing, people helping people, individuals making smart decisions. That's what saved New York. You are heroes. All 5.3 million of you. We'll continue broadcasting through day 2, through week 1, through however long New York needs us. We're not stopping. This is our purpose now. This is our contribution. Information, coordination, hope. We'll provide those things until crisis ends, or until we can't continue. Whichever comes first. The first 24 hours is complete. Day 2 continues. The future starts now, and we're building it together. Every community defending their block. Every alliance coordinating resources. Every person making survival possible for themselves and others. That's rebuilding. That's recovery. That's New York refusing to die. Stay alive. Stay strong. Stay human. This is Outbreak FM, New York City. 103.9 FM. The voice of survival. The voice that never stops. The voice of 8.3 million people who endured hell and came out fighting. Welcome to day 2. Welcome to recovery. Welcome to whatever comes next. We're ready, are you?